Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha Behar and Bechukotai. The question of the week is, how does a healthy and balanced person behave? So in this week's Torah portion, Parsha Behar, the Torah begins by speaking about the laws of Shemitah. And the Torah tells us when the Bnei Yisrael are going to come into the land of Israel, V'shafsa ha'aretz Shabbos la'Hashem. The land is going to have a Shabbos. It's going to lie fallow. It's not going to do anything. Then the Torah says, how is that going to work? So Sheish Shanim, for 6 years, you're going to work the land. And the 7th year, it's going to lie fallow. So the Rebbe asks a simple question. If you're going to start with 6 years working, and the 7th year, it's going to lie fallow, it's going to rest. So why does the Torah begin by saying, when you come in, V'shav Sa'aretz, the land is going to lie fallow? That's not going to happen until the 7th year. So the Rebbe explains with an introduction, he says as follows. The Rebbe says that a healthy, balanced person behaves in a way of machshava, dibur, and maisa, which means the first thing is, in any process, you have to think. You got to think it through. What is the right thing to do? How to do it? You need machshava, you need thought. Then, once you have an idea, dibur, you use speech to discuss it with other people. Does it make sense? Doesn't it make sense? After you have a full machshava dibur, then there's actually a gap, and then you go to do the maisa, you go to do the action. And the Rebbe brings out, and he says, we find that a human being is called a Adam. Why are we called an Adam? Because Adam is an abbreviation. The Aleph stands for Alefcha Chachma, Alefcha Bina, which is teach me intellect, teach me understanding, which is the idea of machshava. The Dalet stands for Dibur, which is speech, and the Mem stands for Maisa, action. And the Rebbe brings actually from Koheles, where King Solomon says that the chut ha'mashulish, if you have a cord which has 3 strings, it's made up of three strings, loy b'meheri yinotek, it's not going to be broken so easily. So Rashi gives several explanations. What does that mean? A string made up of 3 parts is not going to be broken. One of the answers, actually the third pshat in Rashi in Koheles, Rashi says it's referring to someone that learns Mikra and Mishnah, and is derech eretz, which means he learns Mikra Chumash, and he learns Mishnah, and he behaves appropriately, he will not come to sin. Those 3 things will protect him. So the Rebbe says, if you think about it, Mikra is what we do with Dibur, we speak. Mishnah, we know, if you just read, you can't read Mishnayos like you read Tehillim, for example. You have to think about it. That's machshava, and derech eretz is action. So you see clearly that in order to be a healthy, balanced human being, you have to have machshava, dibur, and then maisa. Or as Rebbe says, for example, even in the spiritual worlds, we know that Bria, the world Bria, Yetzira, Asiya, is a reference to Bria as the world of machshava, thought. Yetzira is the world of speech, and Asiya is the world of action. And between speech and action, it says af. That means there has to be a gap. As we know, for example, the letter hey also resembles machshava, dibur, and then maisa. Between dibur and maisa, there's a gap. You always need a gap between dibur and maisa. So based on this, the Rebbe says, that's shot in the pasuk. You're going into the land of Israel. So obviously, for sure, you're going to work for 6 years, and then you're going to have the 7th year. But before you start working, which is action, you have to stop and think. What is my purpose? Why am I working? And the Torah tells you, yes, think. The reason why you're working is V'shav Sa'aretz Shabbos LaHashem. The goal is to bring Hashem into the Aretz. The goal is to bring godliness into the world. Once a person thinks and realizes his whole purpose of working the land and working the 6 days of the week and the 6 years until the Shabbos of Shemitah, then your whole work is different. Because you thought first, then your interaction in the world is totally different, and then you're able to have a true effect in the world by doing whatever you're doing in a meaningful and a thought-out process. And the Rebbe also ties it in to this week's Pirkei Avot. What does it say in Pirkei Avot? In chapter 5, it says, B'hasara mamoros nivra olam. Hashem created the world with 10 utterances. And the Mishnah says, Hashem, 10 utterances? Hashem could have created with 1 utterance. So why did he create it with 10? So the Mishnah says to bring retribution on someone that does not listen to Hashem and destroys the world, and also to bring reward for someone that does listen to Hashem. So the Rebbe asks a simple question. If And if you go ahead and you buy something worth $1, that's what it's worth. Let's say you decide to spend $10 on it, and someone steals it from you. How much do they have to pay you? Not $10, what you overpaid. They have to pay you the value, $1. So if Hashem went ahead and could have created the world with one utterance, and the Poel he created it with 10, so why when someone disobeys, is he getting punished for it to 10 utterances? Hashem overpaid. Or why is the reward 10 times the fold? Hashem overpaid in Mamoris. And the Rebbe said, if you look in the Mishnah, it says very, very clearly that which means that if Hashem would have created the world with Maimer Echad 1, it would only been Yochel. Yochel means in Yechoilus, in potential. One utterance would have created a world in potential, not in reality. Hashem did not want to have a world of potential. Hashem wanted a physical world, so therefore Hashem used 10 utterances, so we should have a physical, realistic world. So in other words, you see the same idea in the Mishnah. Machshava alone is not going to bring you a real world. You need machshava, that creates the potential. Then you need dibur, and then that brings it down to maisa. So in other words, the whole idea is that a healthy, full perspective is when you have machshava, dibur, and maisa, and the Rebbe says specifically in that order. So if the answer to the question, what is a healthy, balanced person? Someone that uses machshava first, thinks things through. Dibur, discusses it with himself, other people. Make sure you get the right perspective. Then you take a gap, and then you do the action. Thanks so much for joining us in our weekly Torah lesson. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated to the memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib, Shlomo ben Yosef, and Rachel bas Lipa. May their souls be elevated by the Torah that we're studying in their memory. Thanks again for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. For more information, please see our website, Chabad, swf.org. Have a great and blessed week.